My name is David. I'll be your host for today. And today's show and every other trading show, we only do TA and FA, technical and fundamental analysis. And so welcome to all of you. Sorry we missed the stream yesterday. Those of you that know what's going on here at the studio, there's a lot changing. And so we're kind of being pulled in 100 different directions. But I'm excited to be here with you today as we take a peek at Bitcoin, altcoins. Will Bitcoin hold that pivotal 95.7K level? And what exactly are you talking about, David? I know I briefly shared this on the AM stream, but I can't tell you guys how important this 95.7 level is, which is our point of control from the zone we had going back again from November 26th to February 21st of this year. So far, so good. This is BTC on the daily. We take a look at market cipher B. We did just get a red dot on our momentum waves, but our RSI and stochastics are looking good. And it looks like we're about to get a crossover from our VWAP above our zero line, and money flow continues to expand to the upside. And again, this is on the daily time frame. Also, we take a peek at more trend-based. BTC is well above its 200-day moving average ribbon, which, let me hide this fixed volume range, which obviously is a positive, and this came out of that inverse head and shoulders pattern breakout to the upside. Now, we do have some confluence here on our MA ribbon and this 91.5 level. Now, this is a level that myself, I believe Rob, and of course Magic on Tuesday noted that this was a key level. And if we take a look back, going back to really when we broke into this zone here, and the zone I'm referencing is really from 91.5 to all-time highs. And we stayed here from 16th of November through the 23rd of February. So that range we measured, this is that range. And so what does that 91.5 level mean? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we retested this level and held until ultimately Bitcoin fell, and then we went into the 70s. And so we have confluence there with our 200-day moving average band as well. This is our ribbon number 1. And so if we do get more downside, which I don't think we will, Rob is currently in a X Spaces on Mario Nafal's roundtable, and they're talking about Saylor just announced that they're gonna issue like another $84 billion to buy more BTC. We have the whole Jack Mallers thing. And so there's a lot happening behind the scenes that can translate into Bitcoin's price action going up, including what we saw from Arizona, depending on what the governor will do, unless you guys have some information I don't have. So hopefully that gets approved. If it doesn't, there's, I'd say, about 15 to 20 other states that are actively pursuing a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So there's a lot of factors at play here that could push the price to the upside. But again, 95.7 is a level we don't want to use. We don't want to lose. If we lose that, then the whole 100K by Friday, and we'll extend that out to the weekend. Maybe the timing was a little off. That definitely won't happen. We'll probably get back down to 91.5, which at that point, I will be more than happy to put in a long position, which let me double check and see. We do. Yep, we have and you guys can see here. Why'd you do that? You see here, we do have a Bitcoin long limit order open at 91.588. So fairly confident, based on what we see on the chart here, that we should get a bounce if we do go down there. Now, I do want to share one thing, and let me minimize this, and we'll take a peek at this. So this is Bitcoin's funding rate, okay? Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen unlike last time. Bitcoin funding rate, and we talked about this. This was what, last week, 8 days ago. We talked about the funding rate getting this deep in the red, and the last time that happened, which we looked back, I think it was, no, this is the daily. This was May of last year. So exactly 1 year ago today was the last time we saw funding rates this deep, prior to the one we mentioned last week or 8 days ago, and Bitcoin had a massive rally. Well, guess what funding rates are doing now? We're getting to the levels we saw back on the 22nd of April, which, if you guys remember, that exact day Bitcoin rallied 7%. That was a 7% daily candle. And we're seeing something similar. Actually, we're seeing the exact same thing happening now. Now, that is not to say that we're going to see another 7% candle in BTC. In fact, the daily candle currently sits at 2.5%. And so we should see some upward price action on BTC. If we go back and we take a peek at the lower time frames for Bitcoin, and we'll throw off this indicator. We'll throw on our cloud. We'll take a peek. So we're officially broken below our baseline, our conversion line, which is your first bearish indicator on the lower time frame. But the one thing I did see, and actually that was on ETH. Never mind. The one thing we did see though with BTC, anytime we dip to that 92.8 region, you can see one time here. And let me do this. One time here, and this was a V-shaped recovery to the upside. Second time here, V-shaped recovery. More of a slower grind, but still upward price action to the upside for BTC as we hit those 92.5, 92.9, we'll call it 93K levels. And so if we do continue to see that, I would expect Bitcoin to see something very similar because, well, 2 out of the last 2 times it's done. It's got a 100% success rate. Going back to Sunday, we've seen a really nice bounce. The first one was around a 3% bounce times your leverage. That would have been a nice trade setup. And then the second one was a little more significant, around 5%. But again, on the 1 hour, if we do fail, which you can see, Bitcoin is trying to reclaim that 9-day moving average. If we fail, we do have some support at our baseline, which currently sits at 95,753. You see the confluence there? On the daily, point of control, we have it there on that fixed range we pulled. And then on the 1 hour, Ichimoku Cloud, 26-day moving average, 95,753. That is the key level. And so not confident to the point where I put a limit order in, but confident to the point to set an alert and come check the charts if we do get a dip down to 95.7, because I'd be interested in seeing for a potential long on BTC as we're seeing in real time Bitcoin try to reclaim that 9-day moving average on the 1 hour time frame. We can take a peek at market cipher B on the 1 hour, red dot on the 1 hour. This happened 4 hours ago. Nothing to see here. Money flow is still green, still heavily in the green, around 22. VWAP is trading 8 bips below our 0 line. And so we want to see that come back up if we want to take a long. Also, what you're seeing potentially here play out for BTC is, and let's put my drawing to the test again, is another bull flag pattern for BTC. Now, how far will this range go? We can pull some fibs. And what the hell? Oh, I was like, what is that? Okay, there we go. I was a little confused. Okay. So we can pull the fibs from this move. Let's pull the fib from here. Let's take a peek. And so we are already below our 236, which is 96,672, but our 50% retracement level, again, confluence, 95,775. So you guys see how important that level is, 95.7. Just write it down in Sharpie, because you're not going to need to erase it. And then watch for those levels. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe we'll hit it during the stream today. I don't know. If it does, we'll be trying to enter into a long trade on BTC. Speaking of trades, and I want to just apologize to my trading group members in our Discord, because this is a trade I entered. This is a trade I put in when I was filming the Cardano video yesterday. And it just happened fast, finished the video, had to go live. I didn't have a chance to post this trade in the trading group. And so made money on the trade, but we didn't give that signal to the trading group. I will make it up to you guys somehow. I'll work overtime over the weekend. You know, I'll tell my 10-year-old, sorry, kid, I can't come to your game. I got to put some trades for my community. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. We're not going to do that, but yeah. So we hit that trade on ADA, and that was a long off of it was just a super simple long trade on support for ADA. Also, before I forget, if there's anything you guys would like me to take a look at from either a fundamental or a technical standpoint, please throw it in the chat. I will be peeking through the chat from time to time to take a peek at what you guys are saying, also to kind of chat with you guys and to take a look at anything else you'd like me to take a look at. Also, out of sheer curiosity, how many of you are have an account with BuyDeFi? Put a 1 in the chat. I'm very curious. So that's BTC. We can take a look at the altcoin markets here. Let's take a peek at the top 10. ETH coming in at $1,843.47. Now, the ETH chart's the one I was looking at. It was on the 1 hour. And this 1764 level, we can go down to 1740. I mean, each time ETH has dipped, and these dips are, so the first dip from open to wick was around 3%, but we're seeing an immediate V-shaped recovery with a higher high, okay? So we're bringing in lower low, coming on the rebound, higher high, V-shaped recovery. Same thing here. Off of the higher high, we retrace 5%, immediate V-shaped recovery of around 5.6 to 7%, again, making another higher high. And then the more recent one was here. This is a 4.5% drawdown. And again, V-shaped recovery from wick to wick, 8%. And again, higher high. So the ETH chart looks good. I was looking for some bullish divergence. I didn't see it. I was pulling up the RSI. We weren't getting higher lows as we were making lower lows here on the price action. And so no bullish dip there, but price action for ETH, what this tells you is, and again, you guys know how I roll. I look at candles and charts as people behind them, right? So at the end of the day, what we're seeing on the screen is a representation of the collective traders in that trading hour, what the sentiment was. And in a span of 5 hours, the price dumped, and then the bull stepped in immediately for a V-shaped recovery for a higher high. Same thing here, same thing here. And so there's a lot. And then I was looking at this as well. Outside of this move here, right, we did see a little bit, I'm looking at the volume, we did see a little bit of increasing volume on this initial move, right? But this move, look at this. Look at that volume spike to the upside. Look at this volume spike to the upside as buyers stepped in to get into ETH. And so I saw a comment, I forget if it was on the show or if it was on one of the videos. If ETH is dead, why do the institutions and whales continue to buy it? That's a good question. Are they dumb? No. Do they know some we don't know? Maybe. Do they see past the fuzz, right? The peach fuzz and say, you know what? ETH is super undervalued for what it does and what it represents. That is probably more likely. I got a $10 super chat from Nathan Lowmaster. Brother Dave, what's up, man? Said, can you please apply some hair gel to the back of Rob's head before the 1:30 show? Dude looks like he's got a turkey feather stuck right there. You know, you guys know I love to make fun of my co-host, business partner, Robin, but I also have this nasty cowlick up here, although it's deeper into the back of my skull, so you don't see it as much. But I tell you, man, every morning I wake up, I do my hair. I got to do extra little gel right there, take the brush, the comb, whatever, and pin that thing down. So yeah, but for you, my friend, for the $10, I got you, dog. I got you. Dark Energy said, any thoughts about doing a deep dive on Tau? So you guys know I love Tau. It is my, I'll just say it. It's my second biggest holding behind Bitcoin. So if that doesn't tell you how bullish I am on Tau, I am extremely bullish. I can probably do like a more of a fundamental deep dive on Tau. I have done some content for our Patreon members for BitTensor, but maybe I'll do it for the main channel as well. You know, the problem, guys, is there's certain videos that we do that get 0 views. And in fact, the YouTube algorithm will punish us for it. And so we, especially in the stage we're at, we're not big enough like an altcoin daily to where we can just post whatever and get, 100,000 views. So we have to be tactical in what we post. But yeah, maybe it's time to revisit a BitTensor video. And so thank you for the comment, and I'll keep that in mind as we go through our next batch of videos that we're going to do. I believe we're actually going to be doing an AI one tomorrow, unless something changes. But because you brought up BitTensor, let's take a look at the BTC or the TAO chart, Tau chart. Super bullish retest here, my friends. And so we showed, and a lot of altcoins look like this outside of a few. I know ADA hasn't broke its cloud yet, but BitTensor is one that has. And all indications tell us that this is in a clear and concise uptrend, even getting the positive retest of our cloud. So on this wick on the daily here, this was yesterday's candle. As you can see here, we did get a wick into our cloud, but an immediate bounce back, and that is what we want to see for continued bullish price action. And so this cloud kind of withers between 341.50 and around $332. So as long as we stay above and looking forward, as long as we stay above $331, the BitTensor chart looks excellent. Also, what we're seeing potentially is what we see across the board with a lot of alts is, again, a forming bull flag pattern on a higher time frame, which again, we're on the daily currently. And so if this does play out like I think it will play out, I would be expecting this thing to fill all the way down to that $331 level, which again is the upper end of our cloud. And so for me, market conditions say yes. Chart and analytics say yes. And so I am interested in a BitTensor long at $331.4. In fact, I will go ahead and just put in let me see if I can do this on the copy trade. So our friends that are copy trading us can get into this trade. Let's see. Is Tau available on copy trade? It is not. Okay. So let's go back to our regular USDT wallet, and I'm going to put in a limit long order on BitTensor. And I hope it gets filled. I don't know if it will. And we'll go 12x lev on this one. And let's go 331.45. I like that. 331.45. And we'll do 1K on this one. Always double check. Isolated 12x. Limit order 331.45. $1,000 on BitTensor. We are entering into a long. And that should show up on our open orders. Yeah, so just to kind of recap, those of you that are following along our trades, we do have a Gala limit long at 1.293 cents, Bitcoin long at 91.588, and Athena long at 26.85 cents, and then now a BitTensor long at 331.45. But this would be a beautiful setup. And if you're wondering, let's say David is right. David, you're right. You're a prophet. Where's your 8-ball? I don't know where the 8-ball is. We're talking about the magic 8-ball, not the other 8-ball. This move, if we do get that bounce and breakout, even if I'm measuring from the bottom end of our flag, you're looking at a move up to $490, which would be a perfect move. Why? Because that is where we have a ton of resistance. Okay. If we look back, after we fell through our cloud, we attempted to retake this 489 level, failed. Attempted to retake it again on a wick, failed. Again on a wick, failed. And then this is where we dropped, where BitTensor dropped from high to low, 65%. And so with that being said, if this long order fills, and if you're going to follow us on this trade, which you should never blindly follow anyone, just always, do your own due diligence. You got to say it. I am taking profits before we hit 490. Probably at around 478.50. And so keep your eye on that. Again, if you did put in a limit order like we did, make sure. No, I froze. Fucking shit. Am I back? Am I back? Put a 1 if I'm back. Put a 1 if I'm back. My streaming software just crashed. Let me know if I'm back, guys. Just do me a favor. Put a 1. I'm back. Okay, beautiful. Holy shit. That was fun. All right. Okay, so we're talking about BitTensor. I don't know how much of that you guys caught. And of course my buttons don't work. Fuck me, bro. Okay. All right. Looks like we're good. We got audio coming in. My Stream Deck doesn't work, so I'll have to manually cut scenes. one and black. You guys are funny. I love you guys. Okay, so we're taking a peek at BitTensor, and I was just saying, look, if you're gonna enter into that limit long or just a long at that 331.40, make sure you take profits well before we hit 490. The level I'm targeting is around 400. I think it was on this wick we were targeting here, and just because we retested this, and also this is where our 26-day moving average was. And I'll drop a horizontal so we can take a more closer look. We'll get rid of you there. And this is the level that I want, which is 477. So I'm looking to cash out, take profit at $477. So yeah, so that's BitTensor. From a TA standpoint, fundamentally though, you guys know how bullish I am on BitTensor. On the 4 hours, taking a peek at Market Cipher B, we did get a green dot on an expanding momentum wave to the downside. And then we also have, I think we just, or no, we were about to come and break below our zero line on our VWAP, but it looks like we are starting to see that curve inwardly just a little bit, which we want to see that continue. And then money flow continues to rise to the upside. We're sitting at 21.1 on the money flow in the green. That is looking good. On the 4 hour price action wise, you can see how perfect. And let me hide these trend lines here. And you can see how perfectly, again, we saw it on the daily, we're seeing it on the 4 hour, just how much price respects our Ichimoku cloud here on BitTensor. And so this bounce here off of 349. What is going on? More than one ingestion using the primary someone just give me a second, my friends. I'm having some issues here with my trading software. Give me 2 seconds. All right. I should be good, but YouTube's giving me some weird notification. So, yeah, I have no idea what the hell is going on. Okay. So that's BitTensor and Tau. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to take a look at? Just let me know. Yeah, VMix crashed and then I had to reopen it. I don't know what the hell that is, but yeah. And then we can take a peek at the top gainers of the day. So earlier this morning, Virtual's protocol was sitting at number one. It is currently number two at $1.65. And we'll take a peek at the Virtual's chart here in a second. And then it looks like the SWE ecosystem is really starting to heat up as Walrus. And there was another one, I think it's called, I know it's called Deep Book. This is like your AMM. So this just fell out of the top 100. But this, along with Walrus, had just cracked the top 100. And again, they are both SWE ecosystem plays. And so that's one to keep your eye on, my friends. SWE is currently sitting at a $12.2 billion market cap. And it's sitting at number 11. It's about a 2x away from overtaking Tron for the top 10 to get into the top 10. And so keep your eyes. You start seeing, here's the thing, okay? I've been in this space a while. You start seeing ecosystem projects, ecosystem tokens start to enter into the top, I would not even say the top 100, but in the top 150, it's time to pay attention. The L1's probably going to explode. In this case, we saw SWE front run its ecosystem play. Sometimes you see the opposite. Sometimes the L1 doesn't move and the dApps move, the tokens of the ecosystem moves, and then the L1 catches up. In this case, SWE, I know it's fair, it's valued up there, but keep your eye on it. Not something I'd say go all in on or sell X for SWE, but keep it on your radar, because if this trend continues, I think SWE could be a $100 billion project. Same thing we kind of saw with Solana, that massive move up, and so that's just something to keep your eye on. And then just going back, so Virtual's protocol, we can actually take a peek at that now. I told you guys, and I want to publicly apologize. I told you guys to wait for $1.22, and I don't think we're going to get $1.22. We had a bounce off of our 26-day MA, and actually we did get a wick This is on the 4-hour. Let's take a peek on the daily. We did get a wick, actually, so I stand corrected. I take my apology back. I no longer apologize. We did get a wick, so hopefully you guys had some spot limit orders on virtuals at $1.22 as it came down here on a wick, and then it pushed price. We got to as high as $1.80. Now, for full transparency, this is about a month ago. I was a little more bearish on Virtual's protocol than maybe I should have been. They were going through some things with holding the CB that they had allocated for their project founders. And I was like, that's not really a good look. It's their money. You should give it to them. And we didn't really hear a lot from the genesis. We knew it was an idea, but we didn't know that what part of the planning state they were in. So to me, I was like, look, I'm going to bring my bullishness down maybe a couple notches. But man, these guys, they went hard on that genesis. And it's been an absolutely wild success. And so shout out to that team. I did take a little bit of profit right at $1, which is what I told you guys I was going to do. But not nearly as much as I originally had mapped out. And so Virtual is still a big part of my portfolio. And I don't plan on selling this thing. I might take a little bit of profit at $2. But once we cross $2, I'm really eyeing new all-time highs here. I might take a little bit at around $4. Might take a little bit at $5, and then I think this thing gets to $10 to $20. And that's a big range, but I don't think AI is going anywhere. And I think AI in retail, which Virtuals fits in, and the Genesis launch is just massive. And so if you don't have any exposure to it, this thing's been running absolutely hot. I would wait for a retracement. And again, we're on the 4-hour here. We could see a bounce between our 9 and our 26-day moving average, which is between $1.41 and around $1.49. And currently at $1.65, that's a good place to enter, right? Low end, you're looking at a 14% retracement. That's great. The higher end, probably closer to 10. If we measure from where we are now to our 9, about 9.75% for Virtuals. But man, the chart, it just takes breathers, right? Massive move up, a little bit of a breather. Massive move up, a little bit of a breather. Move up, breather, move up. I mean, it's just a stair step up. This one, though, this would have been a great place from wick to wick. That was a 22% drawdown. So if you were attentive to the markets, hopefully you pick some up because Virtual, since it kind of went flat, right? 50% move. We're seeing consistent 20 to 50% moves from Virtual's protocol. And the beauty of it is this. This is why I am so confident in this, not just this trade, but holding it in my portfolio, is because the move is not, there's two moves. There's a move in an altcoin where you look around, you're like, what the hell just happened? Why is it pumping? And then there's moves where it pumps and you're like, I know exactly why it's pumping. And with Virtual's protocol, we can point to it and say, we know exactly why this token is pumping. And that's because of Genesis launch and people needing to buy the token. So it's not just a speculative pump or a VC pump or a manipulative pump. It's a, hey, people are using the project. They're buying the token to use the project. That's why the token price is going up. Fundamentally, that is what you want to see. You want to have exposure to projects like that price moves off of actual use case and utility, not just speculation and people wanting to long or short the project. With that being said, my phone is just blowing up. I'm just like just a super popular dude here, huh? Okay. So you take a look at top tokens for smart money over the last, I believe is what, 7 days? Let me take a peek. Well, we got 24/7 and 30 days. Okay. So over the last 24 hours, highest inflows is from Ondo. Then you got Link, Uniswap, Venice, which I still have some of my airdrop. Made a killing off. I think I made like 80K off of this airdrop. And then Virtuals. But look at the last 7 days. Virtuals is almost 2x what the next highest one is, which is Ondo. $9 million of smart money flowed in to the Virtual protocol ecosystem. And this is not some, hey, there's only one trader, there's only 4 traders. This is the highest amount of smart money wallets that are being tracked, which is 49. And we're sitting at 9 million of outflows over the last 7 days alone. And again, This is a testament to the Genesis launch and what we've seen. And you can see here, as you click on it, you can see more in depth as far as what wallets are holding it as well. And so this is a real moneymaker, man. We don't give financial advice here, obviously, but you want exposure to AI, you want exposure to a badass team and project, Virtuals Protocol is the way to go. One thing to note here, potential negative, is we're maybe coming into an inverse, or excuse me, a head and shoulders pattern here, which could break to the upside, or should break to the downside. That would be your neckline. And we'd look to test top end of our cloud here, which currently sits at around $1.50. And so keep your eye on this. This is on the 1 hour. We can even take a peek at the 30-minute. So the 30-minute, looks like the 30-minute already played out. Let's use our handy dandy tools here. There's our left shoulder. There's our head. And there's our right shoulder. And there we go. So 30-minute already happened. Failed retest. And then a drop down. And we're catching a little bit of support, coming into a mini potential bear flag pattern here on the 1 hour for Virtuals Protocol, as we have that big move down, and then price starts to make a rising channel to the upside. But looking at Market Cipher B, we did just get a green dot printed on the 30-minute. Now, this is not enough for me to just blindly enter into a trade off of one green dot. What I will be looking for, though, and you guys know, we have our initial signal, which is an anchor wave crossing below our dash line with a green dot. The next we want to see this thing come up. And then we want to see another momentum wave, much smaller, that looks more like a V with another green dot right there. And that'll be our entry signal to enter into a long on Virtuals. But this obviously is a wait and see. So we got to see if that thing will actually play out. And this was looks like this was the perfect short to the other side. Yeah, you guys can see. So we always look at it, usually we share it to the upside, but there's also to the downside as well. Anchor wave, red dot, trigger wave, red dot, and look what price did off of that red dot. That is where we broke below our neckline and came back down and made that low of around $1.62. Just gonna take a peek at the chat. Guys talking about silencing your phones, huh? Me too. You need a Quotron on the desk. I don't know what that is, brother. I don't know what that is. We're going through YouTube greatest hits of March 2025. Okay, so Gagey said, sell my XRP for SWE so I can actually make some money. I would... Okay. If my name was Gay GB Agent, I would not sell my XRP for SWE. Why? Let's take a peek, and we can do a little comparison here. Okay, so let's pull up XRP on the left. Okay, let's go XRP, and let's go daily on XRP. Okay. Let's go daily on XRP, and we'll minimize Market Cipher. We'll go like this, okay? And here, let's pull up SWE. Daily, yes. Okay. So XRP, right, it hit its peak back on the 15th of January at $3.37. And since then, it's really been in a downtrend, okay? SWE, you take a look at SWE, over the last, since the 17th of April, SWE's up 90%, okay? 90% for SWE. If you look at the same time frame for XRP, the 17th, it's only up 15%. And so we've seen it with Caspa. We continue to see a cycle after cycle. A token will run extremely hot. And then while the other tokens you're looking around like Bitcoin's not really moving, the rest of the alts are not really moving. What's going on? And then it'll have a long cool off period and everything else starts to run, right? Or they run in, little pods, right? And so the worst thing to do if my name was Gay B, interesting name, I would not sell a token that I know is going to make a new all-time high, or I feel fairly confident, when it's gained 14% versus a token that's been on an absolute tear, it would be the absolute wrong timing. The right move, if you want to do something like that, would be to take profit up here on XRP. And then in the same time frame, what is that? The 15th of January? Where was SWI on the 15th of January? SWI had peaked before then, and it was down. It was down 16% while XRP was making its all-time high. So that would have been the rotation you wanted, not the opposite of when this thing has ran 90%, almost doubled in price, while XRP has just been trending down and failing to make higher highs, as you can see here, right? Failure to make a higher high, failure to make a higher high. We are coming into a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which kind of looks like a never mind. And so my name is Gay. That is not something I would do, but hey, it's not my money. I'm bullish on both. I'm bullish on XRP and SWI. But again, I think that would just be a bad move, in my opinion. Unless you're up a lot on XRP and you're just dying to get SWI exposure. But even if you're dying to get SWI exposure, I would advise myself, or if that was my brother, to just be patient. Just be patient. It's already seeing a little bit of a pullback. We got to a high of $3.90. We got to a wick low of $3.29, testing that 9-day moving average, right? Just perfectly testing it, $3.27. It'll come back down again. I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know how fast. I don't know how deep, but it will. And at that point, you want to make that move? Cool, man. But I don't know. Just some friendly insight from me. That's not something that I would consider a good move. And also, you can see this is SWI on the 1 hour coming into potentially a bull flag pattern. Although we do want to measure this, we don't want to go below our 50% retracement level. So if we measure, so we got a little more room to drop before this potential bull flag pattern becomes invalidated. And the level we're eyeing to stay above is our 50% retracement level, which is $3.61. So we're almost there. If SWI can get a bounce off of that 50% Fibonacci level, then we're looking at a potential breakout to the upside from a bull flag pattern on the 1 hour. If we fail, I would expect to catch some support at our golden pocket, which is between 356 and 357.5. If not, if we keep falling, I mean, this could be a pretty deep fall. I don't think so, but top end of our cloud looking forward to in about 3.5 hours, you're looking at $3.45 for SWI. I don't think that's going to happen, but hey, if Bitcoin decides to dump, which we take a peek at BTC. So BTC is kind of hovering between its 26 and 9-day moving average. And so unless we see a big fallout from Bitcoin, I wouldn't expect SWI to even breach below that $3.61 level. But fundamentally, very, very bullish on SWI. I think I wanted to take a peek at Solana as well. I do have it in my thumbnail. And so for Solana looks like it's breaking out of its of a bull flag pattern. Love flags, big flag guy. Here we go. Let's draw this out. Let's see what that looks like. So we are currently in the midst of a breakout. Now, this is not something I'm trading. As you can see here, we did try to push price above $155, which is that level of the resistance that we had identified a few weeks ago. I want to retest. And we have some confluence here of $145.39. If we get that retest and we see volume come in, I am looking for a long on Solana. Solana's been beaten to death after reaching a high of $295. Okay, $295. That retracement was deep. So deep, put Solana to sleep. I woke her up around $100. Man, I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at the wrapping stuff. Sorry. Anyways, For Sol, I'm looking for a retest to enter a potential long, and the $145.47 level is a region I'm looking at. We can throw on our cloud, take a peek at what price is doing. So confluence on this resistance, which met our cloud, which is exactly where. And so Solana wants to break out of this cloud, and we are so close. If we go into this tomorrow and price stays the same at 150 bucks, we're officially out of our cloud. Everything else is pointing up. Conversion line trading above our baseline, bullish. Cloud green, bullish. Price needs to trade above our cloud for that to be considered bullish. And then taking a peek at market cipher B, nothing I see here on the daily. Let's zoom out to zoom into the 6 hour. It's a pretty sharp reversal here on the momentum waves. For Sol, as you can see, that V-shaped recovery to the upside with a green dot. So that's looking good. Money flow, green, great. VWAP, 10.71, also great. Stochastic RSI, we need these to point back up. But again, this is on the 6 hour. We can zoom into the 4 hour here on Solana. And let me just let's get rid of that. Yes, good. Bullish crossover to the upside on the momentum wave. That's good on the 4 hour. Nothing else really. On the 1 hour, we take a peek. 1 hour might be coming into a short potentially. We'll see how this plays out. We did get our initial momentum wave cross above our 60 line, our initial overbought line with a red dot. So I want to see what we see here. Do we get momentum waves crossing back to the downside, or do we get a little bit of a potential? You guys know what I'm gonna say. Trigger wave with a red dot filling in for a potential short entry for us here. VWAP trading at minus 8.31. And so if we do see that thing start to reverse, as it is currently trending to go above our midline for a short, we do want to see this thing reverse back to the downside. And you can see money flow was attempting to cross below, but we're seeing that really nice rounded reversal back to the upside for a potential long if we do get a breakout for Solana of that bull flag pattern on the higher time frame. But fundamentally, Sol, it's hard not to be bullish on Solana at current valuations with everything that it's got going for it. And so, yeah, that's Solana. Anyways, my friends, I think that'll do it for the show today. Sorry about the issue with the streaming going down. We're going to work on getting that fixed. Also, before I leave, huge shout out to Dark Energy, gifting 5 Sin City memberships. We appreciate you and your support. I will add before I leave, my friends, join our Discord. It's free. And then if you like trading, which I'm assuming you do because you're here, get the VVIP trading access. It costs you nothing. You don't pay us a dime. Very easy. Click get VVIP access in Discord. All you got to do, create a link with our account, create an account with our link, and then deposit $100 for yourself to trade. That's it. You don't pay us a dime, and then you get access to all the trading signals. Swing trades, scalp trades, and of course, our trades as well. All right. With that being said, guys, I love you very much, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Until then, peace.